As the saying goes, you can't outrun a bad diet. You just can't. 80% of your body composition is determined by what you eat. Some experts even claim as much as 90%. In either case, it's got a pretty big influence in how you look. Unfortunately, we live in a time where there's more confusing information than ever. There's definitely more bad than good. That's why it's so easy to commit some pretty common mistakes that sabotage your weight loss goals. So today, I want to go over the top 10 diet mistakes that you want to avoid, because what you stop doing has far more impact than what you start doing. We're going to use the concept of addition by subtraction. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. It really helps support my channel. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number 1, thinking that you need to eat small meals spread throughout the day. This is one of those conventional wisdom advice that I can't believe hasn't died yet. I like to refer to them as conventional stupidity these days. The idea is this type of eating supports your metabolism, which should somehow translate to fat loss. Yeah, that's a pipe dream. But that's why most cookie cutter meal plans calls for anywhere between 5 to 6 meals a day, which is actually, unfortunately, what most people do. Studies show that the average person has a 15-hour eating window, which completely goes against our genetic programming, how we evolved as human beings, specifically our natural circadian code. The average person, especially in North America, is also overweight. 70% of American adults are either overweight or obese. In fact, experts are projecting that number to hit 90% by 2030. Now, what should you do instead? Well, you need to honor your natural circadian code. Let me just show you how powerful it is. Studies have shown that if you just reduce your eating window to 12 hours, independent of any dietary change, meaning you don't even need to change your diet. I mean, it's obviously better if you do, but that simple change alone is going to result in weight loss and reduced risk of disease. Now imagine if you actually started eating a decent diet. Your life will change. By the way, your eating window technically starts the moment you eat or drink anything other than water. For example, if you eat breakfast or just drink regular black coffee at 7 a.m., you need to have your last bite or sip by 7 p.m. This is more commonly known as time-restricted eating, or TRE. If you just take one thing away from this video, this is it. Your life will change. Mistake number 2, majoring in the minor. Losing weight and getting rid of stubborn fat can really be boiled down to one simple statement. You need to be on a calorie deficit while optimizing hormones. That's it. Most people miss out on the optimizing hormones part, which is a mistake in itself. Despite that simplicity, you can make dieting as complex as you want. And that's usually where common questions come up, like, should I buy organic? Should I eat kale? What kind of eggs should I buy? What kind of pre-workout or protein powder should I get? What's the best fitness tracker? What kind of workout shoes should I get? Yes, there's a time and place for those questions, but if we're looking big picture, they have very little or almost negligible impact when it comes to your weight loss. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed when you get caught up in the minutia of majoring in the minor, which often leads to paralysis by analysis. The 2 guiding principles you need to follow if you want to lose weight, and more importantly, keep it off, is number 1, again, you need to be on a calorie deficit while optimizing hormones. Number 2, you need to get high quality and adequate protein every day. If you can adhere to those 2 things combined with TRE, there is no limit to how much fat you lose. Mistake number 3 is believing that a keto diet is the only way to burn fat. Let me explain. I'm a big believer that a paleo or keto diet is an unbelievably effective way to lose fat, because those 2 diets effectively moderates the storing hormone insulin by limiting the amount of carbs you consume. I gotta admit, I got caught up a little bit in the dogma a couple years ago, but as I said in one of my recent videos, carbs aren't necessarily bad. Like, not all carbs are created equal. There have been many cultures and long-lived societies that have existed primarily on a high-carb diet. The secret lies in the quality of the carbs they consume, as well as other lifestyle choices. For context, the average North American consumes a mind-bending 400 to 500 grams of highly palatable, ultra-processed, insulinogenic carbs every day. Insulinogenic means it's fattening. Basically, the more processing your food goes through, the worse it is for you. Now, the other side of the equation when it comes to the paleo and keto movement is this thinking that the more fat you eat, the more fat you're gonna lose. Yes, you need to consume essential fats in your diet for your body to function optimally, but if you go past a certain threshold, more doesn't necessarily mean better. You don't need to go out of your way to consume MCT oil and eating sticks of butter. Think about it this way. If you have excess body fat that you want to lose, would you rather get your fat intake from MCT oil, or would you rather burn your own body fat for energy? At the end of the day, assuming you're metabolically flexible by optimizing hormones, you still need to burn more calories than you consume. If your diet consists mainly of minimally processed foods, it's almost inconsequential whether you get your macros from fat, carbs, or protein, as long as you're getting high quality and adequate protein. More on that in a second. Just don't be dogmatic and think that following a certain diet is the only way to lose weight. That's why I'm not a big fan of diet labels these days. Mistake number 4, going YOLO on weekends. This one's pretty simple. For starters, I'm a big proponent of scheduling an optional cheat meal every week. Depending on your weight loss progress, you can even have 2 cheat meals, as long as you're on point with the rest of your meals. If we do some simple math, let's say you eat 3 square meals a day in a 12-hour eating window, like a normal human being, consisting mostly of whole foods, that's 21 meals. So if you have 1 cheat meal, that gives you a 95% adherence rate. Even if you have 2 cheat meals, that still gets you at 90%. I would take that rate of compliance to the bank. But if you just go YOLO starting Friday night all the way to Sunday night, that's a third of your meals for the week where you're just on the seafood diet. You see food, you eat it. You're basically undoing all the good work you've put in throughout the week. You might even end up gaining fat in this process. Guys, by the way, if you're listening to this on iTunes, feel free to leave us a review if you're enjoying this. It'll mean the world to me because that's going to help the podcast reach more people. So thank you so much for doing that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button to tell the algorithm that this video is awesome. Mistake number 5, just because something is good for you doesn't mean that you don't have to account for calories. Again, your daily diet should mostly consist of single ingredient, minimally processed, nutrient-dense foods. You want to greatly minimize your intake of ultra-processed and highly palatable foods. Just save them for special occasions. If you follow that guideline, you will lose weight, as long as you're on a calorie deficit, and that's where the problem starts. You still need to be on a deficit even if you're eating healthy food if you want to burn fat. There's no free lunch here. The problem is, a lot of people just go to town on these foods without accounting for calories, especially when we start factoring in delicious treats like nuts, cheese, and dark chocolate. Yes, they're good for you, but they're also very calorie dense, which means that you still need to factor that into the equation. The good thing about whole foods like meat, fruit, and vegetables is that they activate your natural built-in satiety mechanism. They're very filling, which means you almost automatically control for calorie intake when you eat them. But it doesn't automatically absolve you from overeating, especially when it comes to fruit, which is actually mistake number 6. You're over-consuming fruit. Again, there are levels. Generally speaking, fruit is better than cookies. But again, that doesn't automatically mean that fruit is free calories. In fact, fructose, the type of sugar found in fruit, is found to be the most lipogenic type of sugar. Lipogenic means it's fattening. But you're kind of protected when you eat the whole fruit because it also contains fiber and you're also getting the physical bulk from eating the fruit. It's when you consume it in its juice form when it becomes a problem, because now you're getting it in a pre-digested liquid form. The dose also makes the poison. If you've ever bought a bottle of orange juice, it'll say that it contains 6 oranges in a tiny bottle. My question is, who the heck eats 6 oranges in one sitting? What's worse is it'll say that it contains 6 oranges in one serving, when the full bottle actually contains 2 servings. Now you're technically consuming 12 oranges without triggering satiety. This is why you're hungry again after an hour or 2. Speaking of knowing your numbers, that's actually the next mistake. You don't know your numbers. Listen, you can't control what you can't measure. Another popular saying is what gets measured gets managed. The goal at the end of the day is to get to a point where you're eating intuitively. But there is a big gap between intuitive eating and where most people are right now. The bridge is knowing your numbers, especially when you're just starting out. Keeping a daily food journal, at least for the first week, can be an eye-opening experience for a lot of people, especially if you're committing the first mistake, which is snacking all day. If you don't track your daily food intake, you might think that you're on a calorie deficit, but in reality, you're actually on a surplus. Most people are guilty of that. There's a study that shows that people severely underestimate how much they eat and can underreport on their calorie intake by as much as 2,000 calories per day. And they wonder why they're not losing weight. I have a separate video on how to track calories that you should check out. Just keep in mind that you don't need to do it every day. You just need to be in the ballpark when it comes to calories and protein, especially if you're eating mostly the same meals every day, because there's a big difference between being in the ballpark and being completely outside the stadium. Number 8, following cookie-cutter meal plans or diets endorsed by influencers and celebrities. All you need to know is that a lot of meal plans and diets that these people are endorsing are completely made up. The vegan diet, for example, is nothing but a modern-day human experiment. Or these people are pushing you to buy a supplement or a weight loss shake that comes with the diet. More likely than not, the celebrity endorsing that plan or meal plan doesn't follow it. They just got paid to endorse it. My bigger issue is just because something worked for this one person doesn't necessarily mean that it's automatically gonna work for you. Everyone is different. Your metabolism, for example, is like your own unique fingerprint. Like no one else has it. Juice, detox, and cleanses are especially bad for you. They're also ridiculously expensive. It's actually quite the scam. I can't believe people still fall for that stuff. You're basically going on an almost zero protein and high sugar diet, which means that as much as half of the weight you're gonna lose is muscle. Once you finish the cleanse, you're almost guaranteed to put all the weight back on and then some. The only thing you're cleansing there is your wallet. You might as well light your money on fire. Your body actually has a natural detox and cleansing system, and it's free. It's called your liver. Mistake number 9, not drinking enough water. I read a stat recently that as much as 70% of adults are dehydrated. That is a problem because, for starters, up to 60% of the human body is water. The brain and heart are composed of 73% water, and the lungs are about 83%. The skin contains 64% water, muscle and kidneys are 79%, and even your bones are watery at 31%. Which means that if you don't drink enough water, your body doesn't run optimally. And if your body isn't running optimally, it's just gonna go for short-term survival. The last thing that it's gonna wanna do is burn body fat for energy. In terms of practicality, people sometimes often consume thirst with hunger. You need to know the difference between the two. The best way to do it is to stay hydrated. Mistake number 10, not eating enough protein. Eating high quality and adequate protein every day should be the centerpiece of any diet worth its salt, because that's how you build and maintain muscle. Simply put, muscle is the mechanism of health. It's your metabolic currency. It's the key driver of your metabolism. Honestly, muscle is metabolism. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn at rest. That's how you become a fat burning machine. You don't have to manually burn calories by doing cardio, which is what most people do. Another mistake. And just like water, if your body doesn't get enough protein, it's just gonna go for short-term survival. It won't function optimally. The minimum is to consume at least 0.7 grams per pound of lean body mass. Protein is also the most satiating macronutrient. Think about a nice piece of ribeye steak or bacon and eggs. You won't find a short list of studies that shows that increasing protein intake results in weight loss. This study shows that increasing protein intake from 15% to 30% resulted in consuming 440 calories less per day, which led to an average weight loss of 11 pounds in just 12 weeks, just by eating more protein. So don't buy the vegan propaganda that red meat is bad for you. None of those health claims are based on good science. So those are the top 10 diet mistakes that I see people make. Now you can make the necessary changes to achieve a successful weight loss transformation. The next question then becomes, how and what are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. This is also where a lot of people go wrong. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my stubborn fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours doing cardio. It's a simple and proven 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals like you, and it's also the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.